Welcome, ballers, babes who love box scores, and bench warmers. This is Femme Playbook, the only sports podcast that covers triple doubles and thirst traps. I'm Liv, your host, coach, and unapologetically queer commentator with big opinions and an even bigger crush on Paige Beckers. Guys, we're back from winter break. How's everybody doing? I know you can't respond to that, but think to yourself, how was winter break? And if you're my parents listening to this, you're welcome for gracing you with my presence over winter break. But my winter break was pretty good. I didn't do much, but you know what? We're so right back in it. And when I tell you we're so right back in it, I am so diabolically busy right now. It's not even funny, but I always have time for Femme Playbook. I always have time to be keeping up with the sports world, because that's really most of what I think about all day, every day. If there's not a day that the word women's hockey doesn't come out of my mouth, I'm probably in a coma, because that's pretty much every conversation I have, especially since my classes started. And you know how they're okay, everyone, introduce yourself and tell us your major and what you want to do, whatever. And it always goes hi, I'm Olivia Shaler. I'm a communications major and professional writing minor, and I want to go into sports journalism. And then the professor's always oh, what sport? And I'm always women's hockey. It's the same every single class. It never changes. And I'm okay with that. Is everyone tired of probably hearing about it? Probably, but you're listening to this podcast right now, so are you tired of hearing about it? Also probably. But yeah, we're just so back. This really is only has to do with me right now, but this is just what we're gonna do today. So I'm in so many fun classes this semester. Let me tell you, I'm in a digital journalism class, and it's the most. I've only had 2 classes so far, and it's the most fun I've ever had in a class. The professor's fantastic. I'm in a professional writing class, which has been super interesting. I feel I'm learning a lot of important things about the industry, which is very important. But it's just been real exciting overall. I'm in a media class, so that's been super interesting. Oh my God. You know when you have a pit in your stomach because you feel you didn't do an assignment, and then you realize that it's either not due or you made it up in your head? That just happened to me. On air, that just happened to me. But ignore it. It's okay. I thought I had an assignment due tonight. It's due tomorrow night. But yeah, sorry. I just really had to talk about my classes because I'm super excited. But because I'm in all writing classes, that's all I'm doing with my life is writing and writing drafts and outlines and but it's gonna be okay, because I have to remind myself every morning I wake up, I'm this is what I want to do with my life, so I'm gonna need to be okay with it now. This hopefully is gonna be my job someday, so lock in, finish your assignments. And I'm just so glad I'm not a nursing major or something, because at least I'm writing fun, whimsical stuff. Maybe not always whimsical, but interesting things, and not being a nursing major. No hate to the nursing majors, but I'd be scared, my mom's a nurse. Every day I am girl, why do you do this to yourself? But speaking of that, I have been watching The Pitt, and it low-key makes me feel like a doctor even more than Grey's Anatomy, because I watched Grey's Anatomy, a little bit of it, not all of it. But The Pitt is real. I feel I'm in the ED, in the emergency department. I feel I know the terminology. Don't test me on it. Don't ask about it. I just internally, I feel I do. It's my internal dialogue. But that's basically synopsis of what you miss of the Olivia Shaler show. But I have to remind myself that this is not about me. This is about women's sports. So let's actually get into it. So over the course of the break, I kept a notes app of the things that I needed to talk about, and it was disastrous. And when I tell you some of it I wrote down, and now it doesn't make any sense to me. There's a few that don't make any sense to me. Most of them do. So the notes was #we're so back, which is definitely what I'm gonna name this episode, because it just makes sense and it's fun. And my my little like highlight reel here is, and like you're gonna hear about all of this, like don't even worry about it, is Stud Bud Gabby drama, unrivaled media content, WNBA deal drama, Gwyneth Phillips penalty queen, Kendall Cook Schofield homophobic comments, which, listen, I saw a post about her saying something homophobic. And then when I wrote this down, so I went back to like find what I was speaking of, and it is nowhere to be seen. So I'm thinking that that was most likely fabricated. But like, I will like keep y'all in the loop because I saw it with my own eyes, but it very well could be like fake. I probably should have like screenshotted it, like figured out where I saw that, because it was probably just some like clickbaity stuff. But like, I don't know, you don't see that much like women's hockey clickbait because, listen, like it's a niche community at this point. But I'll keep you updated on that because like I don't know what that was about, but we'll figure it out. The next one was Brita Curl smear campaign / article, and trust, we will talk about it because I have wanted to like actually go in depth and talk about it my whole podcasting career, which has been 5 months anyway. I have brought up Brita Curl like pretty much every episode. Like I give that girl airtime, which is probably not ideal, but like we will bring her up. Paige Becker's Breeze captain was the next one. The next one was Takeover game and Minnesota getting favored. Now listen, I know this happened. I know for a fact that this actually happened. And the same thing happened. I was like sitting on my bed trying to dig some stuff up, find some quotes, you know. Gone. Non-existent. Like where is, genuinely where is it? And I'm devastated because, listen, I own a Minnesota Frost shirt. Like, I was a ride or die Minnesota Frost girly in the early days of Minnesota Frost. And then they started Minnesota Frosting. And now they like don't, they're bothering me, especially with the Brita Curl stuff. You just cannot look over the Brita Curl stuff. And, like, back-to-back Walter Cup, like, let someone else have it, guys. Back-to-back's great, but if they go 3 for 3, I'm going to be done. I'm going to be not watching. I'm going to, like, shadow ban their games. Like, get off my feed. But I looked to see if any of this actually happened or if I was genuinely making it up. And apparently I was making it up. I literally remember having a conversation with my dad about it. I remember having a conversation with my girlfriend about it. I probably brought it up to my mom at one point, and I can't find it anywhere, but I swear to you, and this is alleged, I'm saying allegedly, that I saw that refs got fired because of Takeover Tour game favoritism, which I did watch that game, and there were I couldn't even count on both my hands calls that weren't called, that should have been called. And you know what? I'm fed up because I know it happened. I know I didn't make this up. But, you know, like, listen. Okay, what I did find was that 3 people from, like, the control room, which is where, like, if there is a challenge, which no longer exists, and coaches can no longer challenge offsides in the PWHO. But, like, if there's a challenge, if there is, like, a call that was a little wonk, the control room will go and review the call and review the footage. And there were 3 people fired from the control room, men fired from the control room, mind you, and they used to work in the NHL, that were fired for some sus behavior in the control room. So do with that what you will, but I could have sworn to you up and down, allegedly, that 2 refs were fired, but now I cannot find it anywhere. So I must know, like, I don't know, because it's everywhere I look, it's control center, control, like, all talking about all these people, all that. And I'm like, I know I saw somewhere that they said 2 refs were fired. Maybe I mixed it up and it was like they were investigated or like something wonky like that, but like, I'm telling you that, no, I'm just telling you. Like, I just know that I saw that somewhere. And I've had this conversation with multiple people, and maybe I need to talk to someone that watches the PWHL. Like, maybe I need to like maybe I need my own control center, my own control room, because like, I talk, but I'm saying allegedly. I saw this somewhere. But again, with the Kendall Coyne Schofield stuff, allegedly I saw that somewhere. But I'm more for sure about this one, because I could have sworn like multiple accounts that I saw that there were refs fired because of favoring towards Minnesota, because there were a lot of missed calls that game. But I'm telling you, I need to learn how to like screenshot, because it's like not even funny at this point how much stuff I like will see, think about, not write it down, and then just it dissipates. It's gone. And it gets me every time. Like, I wrote weirder things down on this notes app that I ended up just having to delete, because I was genuinely like, what was I talking about? Like, I gave no context whatsoever. But, we still got content. So, like, Power Femme Playbook is back. We are so back, baby. And I got content, but, like, I'm missing the juice. Like, where is the stuff that I was really excited to talk about? AKA the alleged ref firing because of Minnesota Frost. So I'm done with my rant about that, because that's like not all that I wanted to talk about. But the next part I'm really confused about, because I could not find this anywhere, is I wrote in my notes Caitlin Clark's comment about being home. And who knows what that meant? It probably wasn't like hyping her up by any means, but like, what did I mean by that? Like genuinely, what was the subject? But like, knowing this, if you've listened to this podcast before, you know that like Caitlin Clark is like good at what she does, but like, I'm not one to overly hype her up, because I don't agree with how she dismisses her fan base. I don't agree with how she dismisses the behavior of her fan base. So like, we know I'm not one to like sugarcoat her or like hype her up, but what did I mean by that? And you know what? Like, I'm gonna highlight these and we're gonna come back to them, because what did I mean? What do you mean Caitlin Clark's comment about being home? Now listen, on Christmas Day, I'm hyping her up right now. On Christmas Day, she did become the first female athlete to have like her Nike signature ad, and it was a decent ad. Like, good for you, but like, she's got her fans. She doesn't need me. Like, she got her flowers, she got her claps, like, she got her applause. Good for her. We'll hold applause for her. But what did I mean by that? Like, what did I mean Caitlin Clark's comments about being home? It was probably something that was like, had an underlying meaning that just like kind of rubbed me wrong, but who knows? Because I wrote down so much stuff and I had so many ideas that like, what do you mean? What do you mean by this? And then I ended up very like recently, like a few days ago, writing down Alyssa Liu, which is who I'm going to talk about a little bit after I get through just a slew of things that I missed. And, like, we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. I said at one point today that, like, I might not get past the notes section in this episode, and we might just have to push the figure skating to next week. But it really depends. Like, I could have something else to say that hasn't come to my mind yet. So I might think of something. But, it's fine. But with that being said, I'm gonna get into some things. Not that I haven't already spent 15 minutes getting into things, but I'm gonna actually get into things now with receipts. Like, we've got quotes, we've got, So first, we have broadcasting Beckers, because you knew this portion would survive break. Like, you knew she'd make her comeback. But broadcasting Beckers. So we are in like Unrivaled season right now, which I've talked about Unrivaled on like multiple occasions. It's great. It's great for the players. They make more money this way, even though even though our sworn enemy Kathy Engelbert has said that they don't want WNBA players playing in Unrivaled because, like, let's be real, the real root is that, like, these players have no other choice. They are going to Unrivaled because you pay them scraps. And we're going to get into that later. You pay them scraps, so they have no choice to either play international or Unrivaled. And right now, Unrivaled is the popular choice. Even though, I know, what do they have? 8 teams? 10 teams? I believe they have 8 teams. There's 8 teams, and there's 6 players on each team. And I'm sure there's, like, reserve players for, like, injury and whatnot. But, like, there is only 6 players on each team. So, usually people that don't play Unrivaled go international because, like, what choice do they have? And, Kathy, I know you're watching Unrivaled. I know you are. You don't gotta lie. I know you're busy with the CBA negotiation, but I know you enjoy it because it's enjoyable. We'll talk about it. But I'm so tired of the WNBA not liking Unrivaled. Unrivaled's great. It's fun to watch. I'm really mad at them right now because I can't watch it on HBO Max without paying an extra subscription. But good on them because you got to get your bag somehow. Like, the PWHO puts their games up on YouTube for free, and I don't know how they're, like, getting revenue from that but, like, I'm out here buying their merch, so they're getting revenue somehow, some way. I like their posts. They're getting revenue. But, yeah, Unrivaled literally makes you pay for, like, some extra subscription. So, did I say prescription before? Anyway, some extra subscription to watch their games, which is really upsetting because I just want to watch Paige Beckers, and I didn't want to pay for the WNBA League Pass. So I didn't get much. I haven't got much basketball in women's basketball in the past year, and God forbid I'm not watching men's basketball. I will not stoop that low. So I might just have to pay that HBO Max subscription because, like, I want to watch Unrivaled. Like, I feel left out. I see all these moments in the games, and I'm just like, like, I see play-by-plays, and I'm like, oh my God, I miss it. But maybe I need to look on their YouTube because they might have like, game recaps, which I'm sure they do, which, like, I do that for the NHL. Instead of watching the games, I watch the game recap because, first of all, who can afford to pay for the NHL, to watch the NHL games, first of all? And I'm not watching the NHL right now anyway because of some controversy. So do with that what you will. But yeah, I just want to see some Unraveled content. I guess I'll just watch the play-by-plays. It's literally fine, but whatever. I'll get there. So back to Unrivaled. Paige was, as I had stated very briefly earlier, Paige was named the Breeze captain, which Breeze is her, if you're unfamiliar with how Unrivaled works, Breeze is one of the clubs in Unrivaled, one of the basketball clubs. And let me tell you this roster, because it's a good roster, and I love her, but I was shocked that she was named captain. So it's Paige Beckers, Rakia Jackson, Dominique Malonga, Ari McDonald, Kate Martin, and Cameron Brink. Insane roster, by the way. Insane, awesome roster. I'm sure it's the most fun for them and I was really excited to see Paige and Cameron finally play together because we all thought Paige was going to the LA Sparks, and then that didn't happen. So, you know, I'm happy to see them, even if it's just Unrivaled and even if it's, like, a really short season. I am really excited for them to play together because I feel like it's really fun. And one thing Cameron did say, though, that, like, low-key actually confused me is that, like, Paige had, like, impossible defense, and if there's one hole in Paige's game, it's defense. I love her. We know I love her. I literally have a segment in my podcast. Her name is on my phone case. But sometimes her defense is a little stressful. And Cameron was like, she has insane defense. And I was like, you know, maybe I do need to pay for this Breeze subscription on HBO Max, or Unrivaled subscription on HBO Max, because did her defense, like, get better randomly? Like, I'm lost. But whatever. I'm glad they're playing together. I'm happy for them. I'm happy. But yeah, she was named the captain, and that really shook me because I'm happy for her. That, like I've said 15 times, but I was shocked. I'm excited still, and I want a jersey. But who knows? Who freaking knows? Anyway, I love you, Paige Beckers. Back to broadcasting Beckers, like, in general. I'm gonna take us back for a step. I need some, like, proof of life from Paige Beckers and AZ Fudd, like, together, like, not separately, together, because I'm starting to get really concerned. Listen, I know they haven't broke up, but, like, I just need, like, proof of life, like, I just need to know for, like, my well-being that they are still a thing. And I know they are because AZ brings her up in her podcast, Fudd Around Find Out, which we will bring up later. And, Paige is Paige. But, and I know they're both in the middle of a season right now. Like, they're in the dead middle of a season. UConn's in the middle of their season. Paige is in the middle of her Unrivaled season. But, like, please, like, give me some content. I'm, like, losing my mind over here. Like, the conspiracies are starting to get to me. I think I say something about it every episode because I need a proof of life. I need Paige on the pod. I don't know. I'm just concerned. So, I guess, like, I'll take what I can with that. But, like, just letting y'all know, like, I'm concerned. I'm really concerned. But it's okay. It's okay because at some point we will get a proof of life and you'll hear about it. Like, trust, like, even if it's months later, you will hear about it. If it happens this summer, you'll still hear about it. Like, it's okay. But back to part of broadcasting Beckers, I just wanted to talk about 3-on-3 basketball because I have watched practice clips and such, and can I say, like, 3-on-3 basketball is so fun. And let me tell you, I used to be on a 3-on-3 basketball team when I was, like, 9. But let me tell you, I used to play basketball. I had fun basketball shoes. I had the whole get up. My gay self wore that little Nike headband and those little elite basketball shorts. Like, trust. Like, I did. Yeah. I know 3-on-3 basketball, but it's really fun. It's a lot more fast-paced, I feel. It has shorter quarters, so it's 7 minutes, just because you genuinely only have 3 players on the court. 18-second shot clock, and this is interesting. A unique Elam ending style scoring where 11 points are added to the leading team's score after the third quarter for a target-winning score, eliminating traditional overtime. So overtime, like, it don't usually happen. But that's really interesting to me. Fouls only get a single free throw, and the game uses a compressed court. So, like, it's like high energy. It's going quick. Like, we're moving so fast, and, like, I think the only rule I don't like is the the third quarter 11-point rule, because that, like, would be a blow to your score. But, 7-minute quarter 2, you don't got time to come back from that. Like, you got to be throwing them up if you want to catch up to the leading score. But I get it in a sense that they want the games to be, like, super high intensity and, like, quick, because I think that is better for the viewer. Like, I think that brings, like, a different life to basketball, because I feel like, let me say something. Men's basketball is so boring. Like, it's so boring. And so it's fun for them to be able to, like, I don't know, put their own rules to it. And what makes it better is it's Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier. So, like, they know what they're doing, and they really know what they're doing, because Unrivaled is great. But yeah, that's really all I want to say about Unrivaled basketball, because I have a lot to go into. So basically, the takeaways from broadcasting Beckers are: AZ and Paige, where are you? When did Paige's defense get better without my knowledge? And I mean, I think that's it. Like, I think that's all I had to say. And Unrivaled's great. Like, I need to buy some merch or something. I've been trying to get up on my sports merch, but usually I only try to thrift it because it's like insanely expensive. But I need more like women's sports merch. I mean, like I got the Bears merch, I got the Cubs merch, I got the Chicago Blackhawks merch, but like I have like two PWHL shirts. I have a Rockford Peaches. Okay, maybe I have more than I thought I did. But still, like, I need some like women's basketball merch. I would not mind more PWHL merch, but it's okay. I just gotta be like up on my game. Like, why am I wearing this like men's sports stuff? I don't have, why did I say men's basketball? I don't own any Bulls stuff, but you know, it's fine. People tend to ask me about my women's sports shirts more because they don't know what it is, but I'll let that slide. I'll yap for a good few minutes about it. But yeah, that was Broadcasting Beckers. That's really all I say all I had. Like, I didn't just go on like a 10-minute tangent, but you guys are used to this. You guys are used to it, especially with Paige. I, mind you, did a whole episode on her and still have things to talk about because that's how I feel. But, yeah. Okay, so now that I've done what I want for Broadcasting Beckers, we've got a lot of other things to talk about. So the first thing that I want to talk about, and this is stuff I put on the notes app that like I need to like reel y'all in and talk about it because I haven't been able to. So this is stuff that I collected over break, as said earlier. And these were the things that I screenshotted or wrote legibly enough to understand what I was talking about in my notes app. Yeah, so anyway, so the first thing that I wrote was stud bud Gabby drama, which I feel like is very straightforward because there's only like one thing that could be talking about. So basically, I know I've talked about stud buds, and honestly, like I've contemplated doing episodes on the stud buds before, but the latest controversy has kind of like shoved me away from that because I feel like they do some questionable things. I feel like the things they say that people don't pay attention to on their live streams can be a little bit touch and go at times, and this is like a vast example of that. And you know, like the 72-hour live stream was revolutionary. It was great. It was probably good for women's basketball. It brought in a lot of viewership for games and all the stuff they do. But they said some crazy stuff and some crazy things happened that I feel like as viewers we looked over because it was a 72-hour stream. And like, let's be so for real. Who witnessed the whole thing? If you did, raise your hand and come talk to me because there were some things I missed that like I've seen videos of months later that I'm like, ooh, why didn't we talk about that more? Like they said that. And the 72-hour live stream, because I didn't preface this, went on during the All-Star game. So busy weekend. And they literally did not come off stream for 72 hours. So I feel like that just leaves room to say stupid stuff and people look over it. But one of the examples of stupid things that were like said on the live stream. So basically, Courtney Williams has outwardly a few times said some interesting things to Gabby Williams, who they used to play on a team together. I believe they used to play on a team together. But mind you, let me just add more backstory to the backstory. Gabby Williams has a fiance who plays women's basketball in the WNBA, and Courtney Williams had a fiance, and we don't know much about that, but she said she won't be sharing about it, which is fine. But like when we do hear about that, y'all will know because, you know. But so that's a little background knowledge for how about crazy this is, but during the all-star like red carpet and like that kind of thing, like where they're all dressed up and looking nice, Courtney had made a few comments towards Gabby. Courtney on the live stream had said she's looking too good for me to pass. And I don't know if like it's because it's like, you know, sometimes like it'll be like, oh, she's just like complimenting her. Like she's just being a girl's girl. But like she was aggressive about it. And we heard it like multiple times in multiple different forms from Courtney. So like, why were we like looking over the thing she was saying to Gabby? But, you know, let me keep going. She said to a different player, I don't remember who it was, but she said to a different player, I know she ain't gay. Like, I know she ain't gay, but, like, still gonna hit on her, still gonna shoot my shot. And it's just like, ew. Like, no, don't. No, you don't gotta be doing that. And like, there are definitely quotes I missed that like she has brought up Gabby a ridiculous amount of times. Like, enough times for me to be like, ooh, like this is just embarrassing for you. So there's that. Like, if that tells you anything about the situation. But basically, Gabby went on Fud Around Find Out with AZ Fud. I've brought it up multiple times. Probably one of my favorite sports podcasts, like in general, because it's just fun. Like, I feel like it gives such insight, and she has such good guests. Like, she had Gino Auriemma at one point. It was like the funniest thing ever. But she brought Gabby Williams onto the podcast, and they did, I think on like most of the guests episodes, they'll do like a Q&A, and AZ's co-host like lightheartedly, and like if you watch the clip, it's like super awkward, because if you didn't know like the backstory and how Courtney had previously acted, it's like it's odd. Like, she just shouldn't have brought it up, but she didn't know the backstory. Like, you could even see it in AZ, like, ooh, she shouldn't have brought that up. But Gabby went on AZ's show, and Courtney in the Q&A said, "Why, Gabby, why you so fine?" And Gabby was like straight up. She was like, listen, you have got to leave me alone. Like, looks in the camera and says like, you have to leave me alone. Like, this is getting ridiculous. And, you know, it was embarrassing. I don't know if Courtney ever said anything, but then Natasha Cloud, oh my God, is that her? I think so. Which is Stud Bud's co-host with Courtney. She had brought it up on, I don't know if it was a live stream, I don't know what it was, I don't know where I found this, but she basically, like, without saying Gabby or Courtney's name, she was like, my homie, like, she doesn't, like, fall for people like this. Like, she doesn't, you know, like, she doesn't do that. She doesn't, you know, she's just joking, whatever. And then referring to Gabby said, don't nobody want her. Mind you, she's had a fiance this whole entire time. So what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? This is not like, this is not gonna hurt Gabby. Really, more than anything, Gabby's just like, bro, like, leave me alone. And I don't know why they kept bringing it up, because honestly, like, I feel like Stud Buds was such a wave, and now it's kind of like, maybe because the W season's over, maybe because Courtney's not an Unrivaled, like, they've kind of like fizzled out a little bit, and I don't know if they need to keep bringing up Gabby for content, but it is getting to a point where I'm like, I don't even want to talk about Stud Buds in a positive light, because if they're going to make players on their own team uncomfortable, then why am I supporting them? But like, you know, there's so many sides to the story, but like overall, I feel like it is very much so Gabby Williams is incredibly uncomfortable with the situation, and it's just not cute. It's not cute from Courtney. I don't like it, and I'm not a fan right now. So, you know, do with that what you will. But that's what I have to say about the Stud Buds Gabby drama. I don't know. Hopefully, honestly, like, hopefully we don't hear anything more about this because I don't want them to bring up Gabby anymore for Gabby's sake, but I wouldn't be surprised if Gabby says something about it. But at the same time, if she brings it up, they're going to bring it up and then it'd just be a whole disaster. But I wouldn't at all be surprised if this like resurfaces during next season, especially if like Stud Buds is at like an event or something like that. I'm not for sure if Gabby plays for Unrivaled. Let me actually look. Gabby Williams. So, does she play? Oh, so she's like she's important in Unrivaled, which that's my diva, like I love her. I don't know if she actually plays in Unrivaled, but I think she might be international. But she advocates for it, especially in the CBA negotiations, which we're going to get to because it's a very important discussion in women's sports right now. But yeah, tired of Stud Buds like abusing that platform, which is what this feels like right now because ew. But it's okay because until like other people start to hold them accountable, it's especially other players, nothing's gonna happen. So I hope it's over for Gabby. But yeah, anyway, next thing I want to talk about, because this is like I just flung my pen. But next thing I want to talk about, because this is a huge thing right now, especially in the W, because I feel like a lot's happened in the W world, because that's like most of what I've been talking about. But so the WNBA like CBA negotiation hasn't been settled yet, and has in fact got like even more difficult and 10 times worse and just overall ridiculous. And honestly, I'm tired of hearing about it if it's not ended in favor of the players, because you can't what gets me is, how are you not signing for your players? Like, those are your money makers. How are we? I don't understand it. Whatever. But this has been going on for months, and probably a month ago, I would have said a month from now, there will be a strike, because this is getting ridiculous, and I can't deal with it. So basically, in like a spark note, what the players are asking for is very basic players' rights. So like, let me just give you some numbers. So currently, the deal hasn't been negotiated because the WNBA has over $1 billion of revenue, and the players make a whopping 9.3% of that revenue. So, for context, in like a male league, it's like probably about 50%, because for whatever reason, male leagues don't understand the term salary cap at all. So they theoretically should be asking for 15%, but because they only have 9.3%, they're asking for 30% of the $1 billion revenue, which should be doable. But the WNBA has been like fighting back. Basically, like, one of the things they said was that they were going to take away like player housing, which is really vital for rookie players because they're young, they're coming out of college. Not all of them have NIL deals and like media deals and that kind of thing. Like, that's not a thing for all of them. So no, they can't live off of their like $2 paycheck that they get from the WNBA. And so when the players were like, we want 30% of the current revenue, they were like, we can do that, but we're going to take away housing. Because for whatever reason, they seem to think that $1 billion isn't enough. So that's frustrating. But I don't know. It's just like how hard is it to like wrap your head around fair pay, for players, because right now the current salary cap, and like this is for like players like Asia Wilson, Caitlin Clark, like the players that like you think of when you think of the WNBA, the top dogs. They're making at a salary cap $250,000 per season. That's all they can make. And that doesn't include like the stupid bonuses that they get for winning tournaments and advancing into the playoffs, but in the championships. But like those are weak. Like it's like you'll get like $5,000 for winning the championship, which is actually insane. But you know, like what up? You know, like they'll take what they can get at this point, because some players are literally making like $5 a game, which is untrue. I'm being dramatic, but like they'll make like $70,000 a season. Like I could find a way to make more, and I'm not a pro women's basketball player, you know? And then you look at like the NBA, and like let me look up what the NBA salary cap is, because like this comparison is going to actually just revolt me. NBA salary cap. So oh, this is disgusting. Yeah, this is disgusting. The NBA salary cap is $154.6 million. I'm sorry. Wait, let me do some quick math. Okay. 250,000. So 250,000 is 0.16% of the salary cap of the NBA. Wait, does that make sense? Yeah, I think it does. Anyway, ridiculous. Why? I don't understand. I can't even like wrap my head around that number, because that's ridiculous. But they're asking not even for what. They're not even asking for what. And one of the like biggest misconceptions I feel like about the CBA negotiation is that the WNBA is asking for the salary of NBA players, and they're not. They're not even asking for 50% of the league's revenue, which is what they should be asking for, but they can't. They're asking for 30% because the current is 9.3. Make that make actual sense. Wait, let me do more quick math, because I need to know. 9.3. Sorry guys, I'm not really good at math. I actually just like had this discussion today. Wait, yeah, that's right. Okay, so the math didn't work because I'm totally doing something wrong. I just had this discussion with my girlfriend today, but I'm bad at math. But 9.3% of $1 billion is like really not that much. Oh wait, I think I figured out how to do the math. Okay, wait. Yeah. So literally nothing is going to the players is what I've deducted. But not even near $1 billion is going towards the players, which is ridiculous because $1 billion is an unfathomable amount of money. But the CBA negotiation is stupid, and basically it has reached a point where the next logical step is going on strike, which would mean not swinging into free agency, which is supposed to happen soon, like a very plausible league lockout, like all sorts of things that would not be good for anyone, but they've literally been given no other choice. And the Players Association has permitted a strike. They've deemed it very much so okay and almost necessary at this point. And they're in moratorium, which if you don't know what moratorium means, it means that literally everything is on pause. Everything is on hold until a later date where they'll try to come to an agreement again, which probably won't happen and which will probably lead to a strike. Don't quote me on that, because earlier I had said that a month ago, I would have said a month from now the players will be on strike. And they haven't done that yet, because it wouldn't be good for literally anyone. Not the players, not the WNBA, not the fans. It wouldn't be good for anyone. And they're doing, honestly, the players are doing the most notable thing for the fans. And I appreciate that. Because if I was in this situation, I'd want to go on strike immediately. And they haven't done that yet. They've held strong. They're in moratorium. We'll see how long that lasts. And if at the end of moratorium they reach some sort of agreement. The fact that my first episode of this podcast was about the CBA negotiation, and it's been months and we still haven't reached a deal to that negotiation, is absolutely ridiculous and uncalled for, especially because the WNBA deems itself as to be such a good league and such a good league for the players, and like all this stupid fluff that's untrue. You are no better than any male sports organization. No better than the NHL, mind you. And the NHL's trash right now. So you heard me, WNBA. Kathy Engelbert, if you're listening to this podcast, you are not my friend. I'm done talking about that because I'm angry. So the next thing I'm talking about is actually like super lighthearted, and I promise I won't spend 5 years talking about it because, you know. So back to the PWHL, because, you know, I love talking about it. I literally talk about nothing else. We talked about this at the beginning of the podcast. But it's really rare for goalies to take penalties, I feel. It doesn't happen that often. And this happened December 18th against none other than the Minnesota Frost, which y'all know how I feel about Minnesota Frost. So basically what happened is Gwyneth Phillips took a tripping penalty against Abby Barine. Basically what happened is, how do I explain this in like layman's terms and also in a way that like you could picture? So pretty much what happened is like Abby Barine ran into Gwyneth Phillips' stick, and as a goalie, which I consulted a goalie about this, as a goalie you don't want to let go of your stick. So it did look like tripping because Gwyneth Phillips was trying to keep hold of her stick while Abby Barine literally ran into it. And so it looked like tripping because she didn't let go of her stick. Because she wouldn't want to let go of her stick because that's one of her two defense mechanisms other than her body. So she got called tripping. And it was a stupid call. But she didn't let go of her stick. I get it. Whatever. What freaking ever. But, and that game, she shoved players out of the crease, as she should. Don't mess with the goalies. And she tried to trick Kava, and then she took a penalty. So, like, she was being, like, feisty as hell that game. And I mad appreciate her for that, because I love when goalies get feisty. I love when they're like, wait, let me, like, have this moment. Let me be in this. And they do it, and it's always fun. But that was fun to watch. And I didn't watch the game, but, like, I watched, like, a lot of the PWHL recaps. And one of my favorite accounts, 365 Hockey Girl, which I get, like, a lot of my, like, news from, she had posted this. And it's hilarious, and I love it. But, yeah, I need to see more goalies get, like, rowdy and in it and crazy, because hilarious. I love it. I love when this happens. But yeah, that was a more lighthearted note compared to the CBA negotiations. But now we're back into like a very serious talk about someone I brought up earlier that I do not like, because she just keeps doing her big one. She keeps doing stupid stuff that makes me rage against her. But as mentioned earlier, I had said that I was going to talk about Britta Curl in more depth from the Minnesota Frost. And I know I've talked about this before, but I'm going to give you all a recap because she deserves to continue to be held accountable by PWHL fans, because otherwise she's going to slip through the cracks. And I am all for a Britta Curl smear campaign. Like, let's lay it all on the line. You want to play games? Oh, you want to play games? No, like, let me expose you. So I'm acting like she's going to listen to this. She won't, but, like, let me talk about it. So Britta Curl, right before she got drafted to the Minnesota Frost, it was very much so known that she was going to get drafted in the PWHL. She was a top player at that point, and it was the first PWHL draft. So basically, someone was looking up on her Twitter, checking up on her Twitter, and saw that in her liked posts, she had an obscene amount of homophobic, racist, transphobic, and MAGA posts liked on her Twitter account. So, of course, everyone is like, after she was drafted to the Minnesota Frost, everyone was like, Minnesota Frost, say something. This is ridiculous. And they were like, okay. So she posts this absolutely horrible apology video that was scripted as hell and just so stupid. And it was just so bad. The video makes me cringe. I can't watch it anymore because it makes me mad. But like, if you want to watch it, it is still up on her Instagram. Very much so high up in posts because I guess she just doesn't post that much. But after that, everyone was like, that wasn't anything helpful or useful towards an apology. And the PWHL Frost was basically like, but like, when she got drafted, did you see that a gay man handed her her hockey stick? That's legit what they said. To be like, oh, you don't like that? Like, let me give you this. So that's why we don't like Britta Curl. But ever since then, Minnesota Frost has been like scraping to try to get her to be like a fan favorite, because she is basically like the, if this helps, the Sophie Cunningham of the PWHL. Like, she's not a good person, but for some reason she still has fans. But in every comment section, it's like, so are we going to talk about your Twitter account? Like, you know. So she did this article, and I don't know who the journalist was, whatever. They released this article on The Athletic, and she was like addressing her controversy for the first time, like actually talking about it. And this is what she freaking had to say. She had to say it was a misunderstanding. And she said, if I was actually the way people say I am, I would hope they would boo me, but it's not accurate. The person that has been painted and what has been shared, that sounds like a bleep person, crappy person, someone who's racist, transphobic, hateful, and wants people to not exist. I wouldn't like them either. Okay. But like, she has been outward about the fact that she doesn't want transgender athletes in their identified gender playing with the people that they should be playing with. She doesn't want trans women in women's sports. She's been loud about that. That is transphobic. No, Riley Gaines is not cool, who she brought up in the interview. Let me see if I can actually find it, because it was like, it was just bad. She said, my goal is not to bring war to someone's life and the way they feel and the choices they make. She said, adding that transgender people deserve to be loved and respected and choose to live whatever life they want. That's not what you said, so why are we taking it all back? Like, that's what I don't get, is like, you do realize, like, you're hot mic'd. Like, we heard you. You know, it happens. Whatever. Not whatever, but don't take it back. You've just put a huge target on your head now, because now you're just playing games and now you're just lying. So, whatever. But the craziest thing to me not only was that, but also that she said that all the posts that she liked on her Twitter was because the way that she saves things on Twitter was by liking them. So she was liking them to save them to look at them later, and it all happened to be very conservative, aligning things that all correlated with each other. That doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm sorry. If, like, on my Twitter, all my stuff was, like, I saved things by liking it. It'd be, like, videos of cats and, like PWHL highlights. It wouldn't be, like, MAGA, you know? Like, no, you're lying. Like, don't try to take that back. Like, what are you talking about? But she went on this article and she said that. And, of course, it wasn't well received by the people that have not liked her from the beginning, which is a majority of PWHL fans because we're hashtag woke in the PWHL. You know, she still has her supporters like Sophie Cunningham in the WNBA. She still has her supporters. She still has her MAGA supporters who are going to say, we love you anyway. But it just gets me because, like, no, like, you said that. We're not going to forget. So no matter how many videos you post with your boyfriend talking to other players' girlfriends, and no matter how many articles you or how many reporters you talk to saying that you are misunderstood and you are being cyberbullied online, like, girl, you said that stuff. Like, sorry, not taking it back. Hello. But, you know, like, Minnesota Frost is gonna do what Minnesota Frost wants to do, and they're gonna sit there and pretend like she didn't do some horrific, crazy stuff because they have just, like, pinned themselves as the team who will, like, not give a crap, not support their demographic, which is LGBTQ plus fans and players. They're not going to support their demographic because for some reason they're like, why would I do that? But, like, whatever. Anyway, I'm done talking about that because I'm getting mad again. But so I really did think that I was going to get to the figure skating stuff today, and that never happened. And I do sincerely apologize. I also said that I was going to get to there's so many things written down. I didn't say this, but I wanted to talk about heated rivalry. So we're going to have to table that, which is okay because I'll be talking about figure skating and hockey anyway, so, like, it just bleeds. But I'm sorry I couldn't get to that because I had a lot to say. But basically that was, like, my recap of winter break and what happened over winter break with some backstory because that's what I always do. But yeah, that was it. That was cute. So forward Femme forecast next week, I'm gonna talk about figure skating and heated rivalry and whatever comes up. You know, recap, whatever. Play of the week, broadcasting beggars, you can all expect it. But yeah, with that being said, stay sweaty, stay sapphic, and stay batty on and off the field. I'll catch you next week. Same time, same mic, same energy. Bye.